To make the claim that plants cause disease is just as ridiculous as when a hardcore vegan makes the claim that meat causes disease. No, plants do not cause disease. No, meats do not cause disease. Just because you can not tolerate it well, it doesn't mean that every single person on the planet is not going to be able to tolerate it well. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in and welcome back to another Carnivore Q&A. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today's question comes from a World Carnivore Tribe group on Facebook. Remember had asked to list off all of the different diseases that are caused by plants. So what I want to do in this Q&A is I want to answer the question, do plants cause disease? And the short answer is no, plants do not cause disease. And another thing with regard to disease is there's more to disease than just nutrition. A lot of people will be hyper-focused on nutrition, but if you are looking at somebody's overall lifestyle, there's more to it than just that. You need to look at their stress habits, their sleep habits, also their activity levels. If you were to give me somebody that has a terrific diet, but they have chronic stress, they have terrible sleep patterns, and also they're very, very inactive, and then you give me somebody that has a terrible diet, but they have no stress in their lives, they have the best sleep patterns possible, and also they're very, very active, I would take the person with the terrible diet versus the person with the great diet if I had to guess which one is going to develop some type of disease. So it's not enough to just look at somebody's diet and say this causes disease, because at the end of the day, disease isn't just caused by diet. A lot of them are going to be lifestyle related and also environmental. So to look and say plants cause disease, it's a ridiculous claim to make. And I'm going to go back to 2010 when I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, because when I was diagnosed, I wanted to figure out a way that I could get into remission without having to go on medications or anything like that. So I started doing a lot of research on my own, and during that time, I ended up coming across several books that I still love to this day and I still use in my clinical practice. One of those books was Biochemical Individuality by Roger Williams. It was written somewhere in the 1950s, I believe either 53 or 1956, and it still holds true today. And basically what Roger Williams said in his book is that we all have very, very minor differences in our genetics. And because of our genetics, the diet needs to be tailored to the individual based off of how they're going to respond, because everybody is going to respond differently to the same diet. If I eat meat, I'm going to be perfectly fine. If I give meat to somebody else, their body may not respond well. And you could think of this in terms of the actual enzymatic function and enzymatic profile of an individual. We have different types of enzymes that are going to help us to break down different types of nutrients. Three groups of enzymes that we have are proteases, lipases, and also amylases. Proteases are the group of digestive enzymes that help us to digest protein. Amylases are the group of digestive enzymes that help us to digest carbohydrates. And then lipases are the group of enzymes that help us to digest fats. So let's say you are somebody that produces a sufficient amount of proteases and lipases, but you don't produce enough amylases. For that type of an individual, something like a carnivore or keto diet is going to be very, very well, they're going to do very, very well on that type of a diet, because they have enough proteases and lipases to be able to digest the proteins and the fats in that high protein, high fat diet. However, let's say you have somebody that isn't producing a sufficient amount of proteases and isn't producing a sufficient amount of lipases. However, they are producing an adequate amount of amylases. For that type of a person, something like the carnivore or keto diet isn't going to be that great. And for that type of individual specifically, something like a vegetarian or vegan diet may actually be beneficial. So when it comes to diet, it's going to be very highly individual to each person. You can't just say, this diet works for me, therefore it's going to work for you as well. And that is why, no, plants do not cause disease, because there are some people that can tolerate it perfectly well. Just because you ended up destroying your health over several decades and now you can no longer tolerate plants, it doesn't mean that every single person on the planet can tolerate plants. So to make the claim that plants cause disease is just as ridiculous as when a hardcore vegan makes the claim that meat causes disease. No, plants do not cause disease. No, meats do not cause disease. Just because you can not tolerate it well, it doesn't mean that every single person on the planet is not going to be able to tolerate it well. But that's pretty much it for my rant today. If you have any other questions, go ahead and ask your questions down in the comment section so I can help you guys out. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to keep making these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.